Did you know that in Japan, elderly monks in certain remote monasteries live past 100? With no medication, no gyms, and no supplements. Just a diet rich in vegetables, grains, and fiber. It sounds almost too simple, right? But here is the shocker. Over 90% of adults above the age of 60 are not getting enough fiber, and most do not even realize it. Even more surprising, lack of fiber does not just cause constipation. It silently increases the risk of heart disease, diabetes, colon cancer, and even depression. So let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually thought about fiber? Because here is the truth, no one is telling us. Fiber is not just a digestive helper. It is a protective shield, a regulator, silent guardian. But somehow, in our modern world where we measure calories, sugars, and cholesterol, fiber has become invisible. Think about this. In the 1800s, the average person consumed more than 100 grams of fiber per day. Today, barely 15. And yet we wonder why modern diseases are rising, why we feel heavy, bloated, fatigued, why seniors struggle with bowel issues, even when they eat clean. As the famous writer and health advocate Michael Pollan once said, eat food, not too much, mostly plants. But plants come with fiber, and without fiber, the equation is broken. So why has fiber, one of the most essential life-giving nutrients, become the forgotten friend, especially for the elderly? And more importantly, what can we do today to bring it back? Because once you understand what fiber really does inside the aging body, you might never look at a bowl of vegetables the same way again. And right after this, you will see exactly why fiber is the friend every elderly person needs, even if they never knew it. It is not just about forgetting fiber. It is about how aging quietly rewires the body. Let us start with what truly surprised me as a doctor. The older we get, the less our bodies ask for fiber, even when we desperately need it more than ever. It is almost cruel. 1. Why the elderly eat less fiber and never realize it. Sometimes the problem begins before we even pick up the fork. As we age, our sense of taste dulls. Chewing becomes harder. Digestion slows down. Suddenly, raw veggies feel like cardboard. Fruits taste bland. Whole grains are too rough. So we go soft. White rice, white bread, soft noodles, soup, comfort food. But comfort has a cost. Fiber-rich foods get left behind, not because we do not care, but because we subconsciously avoid the effort. I remember visiting an elderly woman in her 80s, living alone. Her meals were mostly white rice and boiled pork. No fruits, no salads. When I asked why, she looked embarrassed and said, "My dentures do not like lettuce." That sentence stuck with me. Not I, but my dentures. It shows how disconnected people can become from food when aging creeps in, and no one talks about this. But here is the deeper problem. 2. What happens inside your body without fiber? What if I told you your intestines know when you are ignoring fiber? Without fiber, the colon starts to slow down, literally. The muscles of the digestive tract grow weaker. Waste stays longer. Toxins linger. Gas builds up. Water gets reabsorbed from your stool, making it hard as stone. This is not just discomfort, it is danger. Long-term constipation leads to diverticulosis, tiny pockets in your colon wall that can get infected or bleed. It also increases the risk of colon cancer because the bowel walls are constantly irritated by undigested food. But the scariest part? Low fiber affects far beyond the gut. Soluble fiber found in oats, beans, apples helps trap bad cholesterol and remove it. It also slows sugar absorption, keeping blood sugar steady. Without it, the elderly are more prone to diabetes, stroke, and heart attacks, even if they eat small portions. To quote Hippocrates, all disease begins in the gut. Modern science is now proving him right. Fiber is the missing key in that gut-brain-heart connection. 3. The body's warning signs and why they are often ignored. The body whispers long before it screams. Do you feel bloated after eating? Do you struggle to go to the bathroom more than 3 times a week? Do you feel full but not satisfied? These are not just normal aging. They are fiber cries. I once had a patient who complained of chronic fatigue, foggy thinking, and irregular bowel movements. Doctors checked her thyroid, her blood sugar, her brain scan. Everything was normal. But her diet: 0 vegetables, 1 banana per week. We made small changes: oatmeal for breakfast, carrots as snacks, lentils twice a week. 3 weeks later, she came back smiling and said, "I think clearer now. I feel cleaner inside." It made me pause. She did not say healthier, she said cleaner, as if her body had been waiting all this time for just a little help. For the invisible enemy: low fiber in a healthy diet. You can be thin, eat light, and still be dangerously fiber deficient. This is where it gets tricky. Many seniors believe they eat healthy: boiled chicken, plain rice, tea, a few crackers. But that diet can be dangerously low in fiber, barely 5 grams a day, when the body needs 25 or more. Even worse, processed health foods like instant cereal, low-fat yogurt, or white toast are often stripped of fiber. So you feel light, but you are starving your gut. Fiber does not give energy like carbs. It does not build muscles like protein. It works in silence, behind the scenes, but without it, the system crashes. As author Dan Buettner, who studied the world's longest-lived people, once wrote, "It is not the magic of one food. It is the habit of plant-based living that keeps people young." And fiber is at the heart of that habit. Transition to next section. So now we know. The body ages, the gut slows, and fiber quietly fades from our plates. But what if we could change that? Not with pills, but with peas. In the next part, we will explore the biggest myths about fiber and how we accidentally sabotage our health by thinking we are doing it right. You will be surprised. Common mistakes about fiber and why they are more dangerous than you think. Sometimes what we think is healthy might be exactly what is hurting us. When it comes to fiber, the biggest problem is not ignorance, it is misinformation. It is not that people do not care. It is that they believe they are doing the right thing. But the truth is, many everyday habits, the ones we feel safest with, are silently robbing our bodies of fiber. And the consequences show up slowly: constipation, fatigue, rising blood sugar, and eventually, disease. Let me walk you through the 5 most common fiber mistakes I see over and over again. 1. I drink a lot of water. That is enough, right? Hydration without fiber is like oiling a rusty engine, with no gears to move it. Water is essential, no doubt. But water alone does not make your intestines work better. Think of your colon like a riverbed. If there is no matter for water to push through, it just sits there. Fiber is the substance that forms bulk. It gives your intestines something to move. I once had a patient who drank nearly 2 liters of water a day, but still struggled with hard stools. No fiber, no movement. Just bloating and frustration. Water and fiber work together. One cannot replace the other. 2. I eat vegetables sometimes, like lettuce and cucumber. Not all greens are created equal. This one always catches people off guard. Lettuce, cucumber, celery, while technically vegetables, are mostly water. They contain very little fiber. They are refreshing, yes. But if your goal is gut health, you need the heavy lifters. Sweet potatoes, beans, lentils, broccoli, peas. Those are fiber-rich. It is like hiring an intern to do the job of an engineer. Nice to have around, but not enough. 3. I avoid fruits because they have sugar. In the fear of sugar, many are throwing away nature's medicine. This breaks my heart every time I hear it. Yes, fruits contain natural sugar, but they also come with fiber, water, antioxidants, and vitamins. It is not like spooning white sugar into your coffee. When you eat an apple, for example, the fiber in the skin slows down how sugar enters your bloodstream. That means no blood sugar spikes, no crashes, no insulin overload. And yet, I have seen countless seniors cut out bananas, mangoes, even berries, simply because they were told no sugar. But they end up missing out on one of the easiest, most delicious sources of fiber nature has to offer. 4. I take fiber pills. That should be enough, right? Shortcuts in nutrition rarely lead to real solutions. Supplements can help, but they are never the full picture. Fiber pills usually contain only one type of fiber and lack the rich diversity found in whole foods. Real fiber from food brings enzymes, polyphenols, and microbial fuel, things that pills simply cannot mimic. I once met a retired teacher who proudly told me I take my Metamucil every morning, but her diet was all processed: crackers, deli meat, toast. Her gut microbiome was starving. Fiber is not just about quantity, it is about quality and source. 5. I thought fiber was just for going to the bathroom. This is the most dangerous myth of all. Yes, fiber helps with digestion, but that is just the beginning. Fiber protects the heart by lowering LDL cholesterol. It balances blood sugar. It nourishes the beneficial bacteria in your gut, which affects mood, immunity, even memory. To reduce fiber to a bathroom helper is like calling a smartphone just a phone. Mark Hyman, a leading functional medicine doctor, once said, "Food is not just calories, it is information." And fiber is some of the most powerful information you can feed your body. Closing thought. It is easy to miss these mistakes, especially when they feel harmless. But when I think about how many lives could be healthier, lighter, and more energized just by fixing fiber, it makes me want to shout this from the rooftops. So, if you have ever made one of these mistakes, do not feel bad. You are not alone. The key is recognizing them and choosing differently, one plate at a time. Coming up next, we will explore exactly how to build a fiber-friendly lifestyle that feels natural, doable, and even joyful. You do not have to overhaul your entire diet. Just shift it gently and wisely. And I will show you how. How to improve and prevent fiber deficiency gently and sustainably. It does not take a revolution, just a few quiet upgrades. If you are thinking, okay, I know I need more fiber, but how do I start without flipping my entire life upside down? You are not alone. I believe real change begins not in a diet plan, but in your relationship with food. And when it comes to fiber, the key is not about eating more. It is about eating wiser. Let me show you how. 1. Start where you are and build forward. Your next meal is the only one you need to focus on. This may sound overly simple, but it is powerful. Start by adding one high-fiber food to just one meal per day. That is it. If you are having white toast for breakfast, try switching to whole grain. If lunch is just rice and meat, add half a cup of boiled broccoli or carrots. If dinner is soup, throw in some lentils or barley. I had a patient in her late 60s who was overwhelmed by dietary advice. We started with just one change: half a cup of beans 3 times a week. Within 2 weeks, her bowel habits normalized. She had more energy. She even said her skin felt better. Small steps, real wins. 2. Make fiber the star, not the side dish. Do not decorate your plate with vegetables. Build the plate around them. This one shifted my own thinking. We are used to meals where protein is the star, a big steak, a slab of chicken, with vegetables thrown in as afterthoughts. But in places where people live the longest, like Okinawa or Sardinia, the meal starts with plants. Here is a formula I often recommend. Half your plate equals vegetables or legumes. 1/4 equals whole grains. 1/4 equals protein. So instead of chicken with salad, think lentil salad with chicken on top. It feels odd at first, but it makes your gut sing. 3. Choose the right kind of fiber. For you, not all fiber works the same for everybody. There are 2 main types. Soluble fiber slows digestion, lowers cholesterol, found in oats, apples, beans. Insoluble fiber adds bulk to stool, helps regularity, found in whole grains, nuts, veggies. Do you struggle with constipation? You may need more insoluble fiber. If you are diabetic or have high cholesterol, focus on soluble fiber. It is not about stuffing down raw kale. It is about understanding what your body responds to. For example, I once worked with a man who kept eating salads, but still felt bloated and stuck. Turns out, raw cabbage was not helping him. We swapped to cooked spinach, chia seeds, and warm oats. Result, major improvement in just 10 days. Listen to your gut, literally. 4. Use fiber-rich snacks as secret weapon. Snacks can heal or harm in silence. Fiber does not have to come from full meals. It sneaks in beautifully between them. A handful of almonds, sliced pear with peanut butter, Greek yogurt with flax seeds, even popcorn. Yes, air-popped popcorn is a fiber hero. It's one of my favorite tricks. Mix 1 tablespoon of chia seeds into a glass of water with lemon. Let it sit for 15 minutes. Drink it mid-morning. It cleanses, hydrates, and satisfies all in one. 5. Drink more water. But with purpose, fiber without water is like a sponge in a desert. When you increase fiber, your body needs water to help it move through your gut. Aim for 6 to 8 cups a day, more if you are active or live in a hot climate. I often tell patients, if your urine is dark yellow, your fiber is not getting the help it needs. It is a team effort. Fiber and water always go hand in hand. Final thought. This is not about becoming perfect. It is about becoming attuned. One meal, one bite, one small shift at a time. As nutritionist Marion Nestle says, eat more vegetables, eat fewer processed foods, move your body, everything else is noise. And if there is one nutrient that holds those pieces together, it is fiber. So next time you look at your plate, ask yourself, where is the fiber hiding? Bring it to the center. Treat it with care. And your body, especially as it ages, will thank you every single day. A true story. When a small change changed everything. Sometimes it is not a disease that needs to be treated, it is a habit. 3 years ago, I met Mr. Samuel, a quiet, retired electrician in his early 70s. He came to my clinic complaining of chronic fatigue, frequent bloating, and, in his words, bathroom problems too embarrassing to talk about. He had lost interest in food, felt sluggish most days, and said, "I think this is just what getting old feels like." I remember pausing, because deep down I have always struggled with that phrase. Why do we assume that aging equals suffering? What if we have just accepted dysfunction as normal? When I looked at his diet, the missing piece jumped out immediately. Mr. Samuel's typical day looked something like this. Breakfast, white toast with butter. Instant coffee, lunch, white rice, eggs, maybe a piece of meat, dinner, soup, crackers, sometimes a banana. That was it. Not a single legume, whole grain, or vegetable on most days. Less than 8 grams of fiber daily, when he needed at least 25. No wonder he felt heavy, foggy, and constipated. What shocked me more was his reaction when I pointed it out. He looked genuinely surprised and said, "But I eat light. I thought I was doing everything right." And that broke my heart a little, because it reminded me most people are not lazy. They are misinformed and sometimes misled. So we started small, because small is sustainable. I gave him one mission. Add fiber, slowly, gently, and consistently. Here was his new plan. Oatmeal with flax seeds and sliced apples for breakfast. Add half a cup of beans or lentils to lunch. 2 servings of cooked vegetables with dinner. Snack on almonds or pears instead of crackers. No strict rules, no calorie counting. Just food with function. And I asked him to drink more water, at least 6 cups a day, to help his gut adjust. The results did not scream, they whispered. 2 weeks later, he returned with the kind of smile you remember. He said, "My bowels are working like a clock. I have not felt this light in years." Even better, his energy improved. He was walking more, sleeping better, feeling younger. And I do not say that lightly. It reminded me of something Maya Angelou once said: "Nothing will work unless you do." And Mr. Samuel did the work, gently, consistently, patiently. The moral of the story is not about vegetables. It is about awareness. When we listen to the body and treat food as fuel, not just filler, the change goes deeper than digestion. Fiber may be invisible, tasteless, unglamorous, but when it is missing, everything goes wrong. And when it returns, life feels like it is flowing again. So if you or someone you love is feeling old too soon, look at the plate. Because maybe, just maybe, what is missing is fiber. Summary and final thoughts. The silent power of fiber. Let us take a moment to step back and look at what we have uncovered. We began with a truth that most people overlook. Fiber is not just a digestive aid. It is a life-sustaining force, especially as we grow older. We explored the why behind fiber deficiency in the elderly, from changing appetites, dental challenges, and misunderstood healthy habits, to the quiet shift towards softer, processed, fiber-poor foods. Then we peeled back the science. How fiber fuels the gut, balances blood sugar, lowers cholesterol, and may even help prevent colon cancer. Not to mention its role in feeding the good bacteria that support immunity, brain health, and emotional well-being. We identified the common mistakes. Thinking drinking water alone is enough. Believing that lettuce and cucumbers count as high fiber. Avoiding fruit for fear of sugar. Relying solely on fiber supplements, and perhaps most dangerously, seeing fiber as just for going to the bathroom. We learned that real change does not need to be dramatic. It starts with small, intentional steps, like adding oats in the morning, choosing beans instead of processed snacks, or simply viewing vegetables as main characters on the plate, not extras. We listened to Mr. Samuel's journey, how a few quiet shifts brought his energy, mood, and health back to life. And if you are still with me, it probably means something in this story resonated with you too. So now, let me ask you, what is one thing you can do today to bring fiber back into your life? Not tomorrow, not after your next doctor's visit. Today, would it be replacing white bread with whole grain? Swapping out chips for a bowl of lentils? Adding chia seeds to your water and seeing how it feels? Because the truth is, your body is already talking to you. The bloating, the fatigue, the restless nights, the unshakable brain fog. They are not just signs of age. They are signals. And perhaps what they are calling for is something as simple, quiet, and essential as fiber. As nutrition author Michael Pollan reminds us, the food you eat can either be the safest and most powerful form of medicine, or the slowest form of poison. That line always gives me chills, because it is not meant to scare. It is meant to wake us up. And if this video helped wake something up inside you, a curiosity, a concern, or a desire to change, then do not let it fade. Here's what I would love for you to do. Leave a comment below with your favorite high-fiber food, or a habit you are committing to try this week. Was there a story in this episode that stuck with you? Tell me. And if you know someone who needs this, a parent, a friend, a partner, share it gently, but urgently. Because the next video, we are diving into the gut-brain connection, how your digestive health is shaping your mood, memory, and even risk of dementia. It is eye-opening, and I promise, it will change how you see food forever. So make sure to follow the channel, hit that bell icon, and remember, real health does not shout, it whispers. And fiber is one of the quietest but most powerful voices you will ever hear.